So today we'll start the introduction part of this DevOps. So then post that we'll connect for AWS class. Okay. So uh, we aware about the word DevOps.
Come back, sir. Come back about the question. You asked the question, no?
No. Just I'm repeating the things. So the introduction part of the DevOps we'll be discussing. So what is DevOps? Nothing but you guys might heard about the word DevOps already. At least the word you guys know about that. Okay. So it's made from the two different words. One name is Dev, another name is Ops. Dev nothing but development, Ops nothing but operations. So the DevOps is the word derived from development plus operations. So then, remember, DevOps is not a tool also. DevOps is not a project also. DevOps is a set of practices. Remember, DevOps is a set of practices. Hope my screen is visible for you guys, correct?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir. No.
Yeah. So DevOps is a set of practices, also tools, and also cultural philosophy that automate and integrate the process between software development and IT teams. So remember guys here, we form two words I said already. One is development, another one is operations. Development plus operations we'll call it as a DevOps. Correct. So this consists of there's some frameworks will be there generally. So for example, development have the framework called, just give me a minute. Sorry. So here we need to discuss the word development have some framework and operations also have this framework. So what is this framework? Nothing but you guys might be heard the word SDLC. The word name called SDLC. Nothing but software development life cycle. SDLC nothing but software development life cycle. SDLC, SDLC. SDLC nothing but software development life cycle. Okay, this is one term. Another term would be ITIL, information technology information industrial library. Okay, this is the two words. Remember. So how to distinguish between these two words? Nothing but just a minute. Okay, so if you guys refer it here, SDLC is mainly for development. Then ITIL is majorly used in the operations. Operations. Remember these two words. This is the frameworks majorly the DevOps will use. Okay. So when I'm switching the tabs, you guys can see the tabs, right? Without any issues.
Yes, sir, we can view it, no problem, sir.
Yeah. So I'm right now in PPT window.
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. So that's the first sentence. First sentence talked about DevOps is not only tools, DevOps is a practices, tools, and a cultural philosophy that will going to automate and integrate the processes between the software development also and along with operations also. Operations means IT teams. Okay. It emphasizes the team empowerment, cross team communication, and collaboration and technology automation. That means generally any company you can take an example. Generally development people will sit separately and operation team people will sit separately and they do their work individually. They do their work individually. When before DevOps, people separately sit together and they can do their work. So now if suppose development people wrote the code, those code they shared with the operation team to deploy it on the server. Okay, assume that such a way, if suppose the operation guy deployed the code on the server and started testing, I mean performance testing is started doing, such a moment some issues encountered, then operation guy will think these issues came from the code development of the code. Okay, he informed to the development people like after we deployed the code, some of the functionality is not working. Okay, now development people will think my code is good, might be a problem with the server. That means if you think the correlation here, development team blaming operation team blaming development team. So now only blaming only happening. Does any work is going on here or any solution we find out or did we fix the issue? Not at all, correct?
No, not at all.
So just we're blaming like them and him, correct? So such a moment, it will be loss for an organization. Loss for it, you are losing a time also. You could not able to deliver the project on time also, correct? Because of this kind of issues. Then what could be the solution for this? Instead of blaming, start thinking nothing but check each and every functionality of the code and also check the server functionality also. Both the guys sit together. Maybe sit together means maybe they can join the call, or maybe if they're physically available means sit together in the same place and start they communicate each other. Nothing but there could be a problem with my server also, or there could be a problem with the code also. We can check thoroughly and we can able to debug that. Correct. Okay, that is called as a cross team communication. Cross team is development team is different, IT team is different, right? Both communication will do here. That is called as a cross communication. Okay. Any questions on this too? Before proceeding further, any questions? Okay. The term DevOps is a combination of the words development and operations. Reflect the process of integrating these disciplines into one continuous process. This will going to remember the word integrate. Integrate nothing but combining. From where to where? From development to operations. Both they combine, both they integrate together. So the DevOps movement begin in the around of 2007. Remember, guys, the DevOps is the term of the DevOps is a word started hearing from 2007 only. When the software development and IT team operations communities raised the concerns about the about the traditional software development model, where developers who wrote the code worked apart from the operations, who deployed and supported the code. Nothing but like people started reporting that. That's what I said, right? Operation people blame development people will blame the operation people. So they complained each other that saying that the model what we are using, that's not sufficient for us to make an automation. On that moment only, DevOps is the word was came into picture. Clear? That's a, that's about the DevOps. Moving on to the next slide. Remember, can you guys tell me what is this symbol?
Infinity.
First world. In general, this symbol will be infinity. Correct? There is no starting point, there is no ending point for this. That's the reason we'll call it as a infinity. Remember, DevOps also infinity. How? Nothing but when you start learning or when you start implementing the DevOps, continuity is very important here. Why we use the word continuity? Nothing but in the DevOps, every day, every moment, the new things are updating, new things are coming, new things we need to learn. That's the reason DevOps is the continuity, infinity symbol. Can you guys see if you cut down the middle layer? If you look at this diagram and if you cut at the middle, if you cut at the middle, then this portion, the highlighted portion is the left side portion. That is for dev and the right side portion is the right. That is for ops. This circular bar, the first left is for dev, second right is for ops. You can see discover, plan, build, test. This everything will done by development. Deploy, operate, observe, continuous feedback. This is to be taken care by operations. Next, the DevOps lifecycle. The DevOps lifecycle consists of 8 phases representing the processes, capabilities, and tools needed for development on the left side of the loop and operations on the right side of the loop. Throughout each phase, teams collaborate and communicate to maintain the alignment, velocity, and along with quality also. Nothing but so that 8 phases will be subdivided into 2 phases. That's a development and operation phase, and each phase depends upon the another phase also, and each team can communicate with other team as well here. Okay, like discover, plan, build, test, deploy, operate, observe, continuous feedback at the 8 phases. Then you guys might be curious. I said DevOps is the word which is came in and around of 2007, correct? But before 2007, what was there? Right now we're in DevOps, but before 2007, before DevOps, what was there? Before DevOps, these two things are there. Waterfall model, Agile methodology, waterfall methodology, and Agile methodology. These are the two words are there from the beginning, before the DevOps world. Okay. Then what is waterfall model? What are the waterfall methodology challenges? Nothing but the waterfall model worked fine and served well for many years. However, it had some challenges also. In the following diagram, the challenges of the waterfall model are highlighted. I mean, the next diagram will come. In that, I'm going to explain that what are the challenges, what could be the problems we might be faced in the waterfall model. Okay. Waterfall model is a sequential model that divides software development into predefined phases. Each phase must be completed before the next phase can begin, with no overlap between the phases. Each phase is designed for performing specific activity during the DLC process. Okay, it was introduced in 1970. Remember, waterfall model was designed and developed by 1970 by the guy called Winston Royce. Winston Royce is the guy who invented the waterfall model. If you remember the Rolls Royce car, this guy name can be remembered. Winston Royce from 1970. invented the waterfall model. Clear? So waterfall model is working fine only for if you think more than 30 years, more than 30 to 35 years, waterfall model working fine only. But only one condition will be here, each phase must be completed before the next phase can be begin. That's the only problem. Nothing but if five members are working in the team, once the first guy complete their work, then only second guy can start the work. Second guy completed the work, third guy can start. Means if until second guy started working now, that time what third guy is doing? Is simply sitting. He won't do anything. Idly sitting. That's a problem. Can you guys look at this diagram? Point number one. There are two developers are there. Use waiting time for code deployment. Deployment, nothing but the first developer started writing the code, and the second developer also started writing the code. So, but one condition will be here will be when they started writing the code, this is not only this project they're handling in that company. There are plenty of projects are going on. Okay, sometimes they contribute on this project. Sometimes if they got any other new project, they'll be going there and they're supporting that project also. So that is pressure of work on old, pending, and the new code. Means this guys support 2 or 3 projects can be handling, and they'll support this project also. They'll support other projects also. They'll support other projects also like that. Okay, that's the developer skill do. Then when it comes to the operations, operations have their own problems. For example, difficult to maintain the uptime of the production environment. Difficult to maintain the uptime, nothing but the servers will be running straight, right? For maintaining the running state of the servers will be quite difficult generally. When 1970. And second one, tools to automate infrastructure management are not so effective. Nothing but everything you want to create manually only. Every server you need to monitor manually only. No automation tools are there when in the 1970s scenario. Such a movement, there could be multiple issues. Kind of number of servers increased to be monitored increases, and difficult to diagnose and provide the feedback of the product. Like this, many problems the people are facing. Where the waterfall model. You can see waterfall model, the requirement will be like this. First the requirements we need to gather, then we need to design that, then implementation we can do, then post that verification, then after that maintenance we can able to do that. This is a sequential process, nothing but one is completed, then only second will start. Once second is completed, third will start. Like the sequence, one after the other only will work. Okay. Let's will see what are the advantages and disadvantages of the waterfall model then. Advantages, if you think about that, simple to understand and use, because very simple diagram will be there, simple process also, no complexity will be involved in that, easily we can understand that. Always for easy testing and analysis, so testing also easy and analyzing the issues also easy, saves significant amount of time and the money also. I think, but we're not spending any amount there because those all the servers will be test servers only. Good for small projects if all the requirements are clearly defined. Allows departmentalization and managerial control also. Then, however, we have advantages, right? Similar way, we do have a disadvantages also. So out of that first one, risky and uncertain, nothing but there is no guarantee. Lack of visibility of the current progress, nothing but we cannot say that this much portion completed in our project. Okay, because the visibility we won't get. Then not suitable when the current requirements are keep on changing. Means if suppose somebody's the project members, project team members, they said that so you need to modify this particular feature, you need to modify this particular element like this. If they keep on asking you to change, means then we cannot guarantee that. Like when you're going to complete the code, we cannot guarantee that. Difficult to make the changes to the product when it is in the testing phase. The end of the product is available only at the end of the cycle, nothing but once you completed complete infrastructure, then only you'll get to know that whether it's working or not. They're not suitable for large and complex projects because, as I said, that until you complete the project, then only you'll get to know the status, right? So if so big projects means it will take several years to complete. Then after complete the project, only you'll get to know whether it's working or not. Correct. If any issues occur, then again we need to spend again ample amount of time. That's the reason we cannot guarantee that like large and complex projects, how many days it will take. That's the reason this waterfall model does not support for large projects. Okay, are you guys clear on what is waterfall model, who invented the waterfall model, and what are the advantages of the waterfall model, how the waterfall model will work? Any
Yes,
questions?
sir.
Next, move on to the second one, that is Agile methodology. Agile is one form of the software development methodology. Its main focus is on client satisfaction through continuous delivery. Remember, client satisfaction is very important here. The focus of Agile is more on limiting the project scope. An Agile project sets a minimum number of requirements and turns them a deliverable project. Nothing but instead of completing entire project, divide the entire project into small pieces, small objects you can take. So you start writing the code for that objects only. You complete that particular part by part. That should be easy. Let me give a simple example. You guys might be using Flipkart application, Amazon application, correct? For e-commerce, guys. So, do you guys think when you guys open the Flipkart application, now there are plenty of things are there in the Flipkart. Do you guys think when the Flipkart app was introduced, now today whatever the applications are, whatever the options are there in the Flipkart app, from the day one also the same options are there from day one when they launched the Flipkart. Now today, if we compare both, so will the same options are there in the from the day one to till now?
No.
Are there added gradually?
Yes, yes, sir.
So means very beginning, the first app when they launched, very minimal components only there. Very minimal components. Gradually, nothing but every month or every 2 months, every 3 months once only, they start adding the features. They started adding the features. So right now there are many options are there in the Flipkart, correct? So that we are calling it as a agile methodology. Nothing but instead of building entire thing in one place, one time, you would segregate them. You started making the things like gradually. So for example, first you take a phone pay application. In the phone pay you can do bill payment, like in the beginning days they are allowing only to do the bill payment to recharge only. Then later they allowed for like broadband. This is also we can make. Then water bill also we can pay. Then post that mutual funds investment we can do. Then post that we can pay LIC insurance also we can able to pay. Okay. Now nowadays now like A to Z is there in the in the phone pay. Similar way A to Z is there in the Flipkart also. Like how they are designed this gradually. Every once 1 month or every 2 months once only they started making the changes. Correct. That is called as agile methodology. The focus of Agile is more on limiting the project scope. An Agile project sets the minimum number of requirements and turns them into a deliverable product. So for example, iteration 1, then plan, design, test, build and accept it. Similar way, plan, design, test, build, accept. Second iteration. Like this, we used to do these things on the Agile methodology. Agile company releases the application with some high priority features in the first iteration. After its release, the end users and the customers can give you the feedback about the performance of the application. Then you can make necessary changes into the application along with some new features, and the application is again released, which is the second iteration. You repeat this entire procedure until you achieve the desired state, desired software quality. So that means step by step only you're doing. So step by step only you will be releasing. Then what are the advantages of agile methodology then? It adaptively responds for requirement changes favorably. Fixing errors early in the development process makes this process more cost effective also and more transparent as well. Improves the quality of the code, product and makes it highly error free as well. So allows for direct communication between the people involved in the software development. So nothing but every day they'll be communicating each other.
So this work I'm doing, you do this work. Like this communication will be happening, and every time we'll get a status as well, like how many days it will take to complete it, how long that process will take. Like this every day, like everything we can able to get to know easily. So it highly suitable for large and long-term projects. Nothing but so this agile methodology only handles majorly long-term projects only, very big projects only it will gonna take care. Minimum resource requirements and very easy to manage. Okay, that's the advantages. Disadvantages also there. What are the disadvantages? Highly depend on clear customer requirements. Nothing but what customer will say, that's only we need to follow. Quite difficult to predict the time and effort for large projects. Nothing but I could not say within 2 years I can complete entire project. I could not assure that, because big projects always contains more time. Not suitable for complex projects also. Lack of documentation efficiency and increase the maintainability risk also. Okay, there could be some risk will be uncertainty here. This is the advantage and disadvantage of the agile methodology. But if you guys compare waterfall to agile, agile bring up more automation and along with less time. The consumption of the things will be less time. Okay. Any questions? Any questions, confusions? Okay, next, finally, we move to the DevOps. What is this DevOps then? DevOps is not a tool also, DevOps is not a team also. Remember, it is a process of methodology of a using various tools to solve the problems between the developers and along with the operations team. Hence the term DevOps is made. DevOps is not a tool, DevOps is not a practice, DevOps is not a team also. DevOps is a or a methodology using various tools to solve the problems between the developers and along with the operation team. The development team always add the pressure of completing the old and pending work that is considered faulty by the operation team. Generally, operation team will say, right, so this code is not working, this code is faulty. So you correct the code. With DevOps, there is no wait time to deploy the code and getting it tested. Hence, the developer gets instantaneous feedback on the code, and therefore you can close the bugs and can make the code production ready faster. Nothing but quickly we can test the code and we can able to release it faster. Then what type of DevOps tools we can be used here? Can you guys see this diagram, right? This diagram will going to give a more idea about that, like what sort of the tools can be used in the DevOps world. So look at here for planning purpose and along with code base. Code base and planning wise, we'll use Jira, we'll use Git, then this is Subversion. Out of these three tools, we're gonna use these two, Jira and along with Git. Then for building, we can use Apache Hand, Gradle, Maven. So we're gonna use Maven. Testing purpose, we'll use JUnit and Selenium. Both we are not using because this is purely used by testing team only, not the development, DevOps. Okay. Then another important part of the DevOps will be integration phase. That integration phase will be having Jenkins, Bamboo, Travis CI. Like these three tools are there. We are going to learn Jenkins and Bamboo. Jenkins and Bamboo. For deployment and operation wise, we do have Puppet, Chef, SaltStack, Ansible. These are the four tools are there. We are going to learn Chef and Ansible are the tools. Remember, Chef and Ansible are the tools which will use for a deployment and planning operation wise. Then monitoring wise, we do have a Sensu, Neuralink, Nagios will be there. So we are going to use Nagios, Prometheus and Grafana, Splunk and ELK. These are the major tools will be used by monitoring side. Apart from this, nowadays you guys might be hearing the word called microservices, Kubernetes, Docker, Argo CD, Helm charts, like that, correct? GitOps, those also we are going to learn. Also Terraform as well. These are the additional tools we are going to learn as part of the DevOps world. Okay. Next, what are this the 8 phases we explained, right? What this 8 phases is going to do for us? Nothing but plan. The first is the plan one, right? In DevOps, planning plays an important role In this stage, all the requirement of the project and everything regarding the project like time for each stage, cost, etc. are discussed. This will help everyone in the teams to get the brief idea about the project. Nothing but everyone can get to know that in the planning wise what we are doing. Then second one, code. In this stage, the code is written over here according to the client's requirements. What client will say, right? What type of code? What is the purpose of that code? They're gonna write that. Here the code is divided into small codes called units. Code divided into small codes called as a units. This is done to get a clear picture of the code. For example, if your team is doing a project on the online e-card application, when then the long login part is divided as a one unit. After login, the page which shows all categories is divided as another unit. User profile is another unit, like this. So means entire big project will be divided for a single chunks. Some of the examples of the tools used are Git and Jira will be used for a code base. Then build. So if this is the build, in this stage, building of the unit is done. One unit is done. Some of the examples of the tools used is Maven and Gradle will be used. Testing of all the units is done on the stage. So we will be get to know where exactly the code is having bugs, and if there are any mistakes found, it is returned. Some of the examples of the tools used like Selenium and PyTest. Then integrate. In this stage, all the units of the codes are integrated. That means this step, we will be creating a connection between the development team and the operation team to implement a continuous integration and continuous deployment. Remember the word called CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. An example of this tool is Jenkins. Then deploy. In this stage, code is deployed on the client environment. Some of the example of the tools used in the AWS will be Docker, like that. Then operation. Operations are performed on the code is required. Some of the examples of the tools used are Kubernetes and along with OpenShift are the tools we'll use for operation wise. Then last final one is monitor. So in this stage, monitoring of the application is done over here the client requirement. So some of the examples of the tools are used for Nagios and along with Elastic Stack. The Elastic Stack nothing but ELK. Elasticsearch, Lagstash, Kibana. Okay. Those are the a bit conceptual wise about the DevOps. Any questions, guys? Open for the questions now. You guys can feel free to shoot the questions.
Like earlier methodologies, Agile and Waterfall is currently being used or they are stopped?
Agile methodology still some of the people are using. Okay, in Agile methodology, another word we are correct is sprint-based releases. Sprint-based releases. Sprint nothing but that's what single units. Each things will be delivered as a sprint. Still Agile is there. Waterfall no more, but Agile will be there. DevOps also there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If no questions, then we'll wind up here. Then we'll 7:30 we'll connect for AWS. Okay, I'll share this document with you guys. Thank you so much.